But I turned 36 last year, and for the first time ever, and I've no idea why it's popped up now and hadn't popped up before now, but for the first time ever, I feel sexy. I've never felt sexy before. I think it's because I feel like I'm in control of things. I feel quite confident. Figure-wise, I feel quite womanly. I think I'm aware of my flaws, and I've accepted them. And anybody who doesn't can fuck off. So I had to go and get my eyes tested. Appear to be quite attractive, but I get these fuckers checked out. I've been wearing glasses for 30 years, and the last time I had them checked, she said, you need some new lenses. And I thought, I'll treat myself to some new frames. I'll treat myself. And I got these ones. I don't know if you all see them at the back and upstairs. They're sort of a half frame. And I got them primarily because they look a little bit headmistressy, don't they? And I thought, wouldn't it be good to have glasses that you could wear in the bedroom? Because if you don't wear your glasses in the bedroom, you cannot see what you're tugging, can you? So I've been trying to think of headmistressy things that I could say that might help the mood, you know. And I've come up with two. And I thought before I try them out on my boyfriend, maybe I could try them out on you lot, if that's all right. So this is the first one. See what you think of this. I do like the idea that I can forewarn my boyfriend that I'm about to be sexy just by moving me glasses. Brace yourself, pet. So this is the first headmistressy thing. See what you think of this. If you finish that book, I'll give you a toffee penny. Okay, there are pockets of people that like that one. Not everybody does. That's fine. It's fine. This is the other one. See if you like this one. Go and get some sand. Brian's been sick in the hall. That one seemed to work. Good. No, thanks for your input. I'll try that out on him tonight. But I am getting much better at dirty talk. I used to be rubbish at it. I've just had a bit more practice, that's all it is. I still mostly stick to the classics. And I mean the things people always say. I don't mean like Charles Dickens. It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. Please, sir, can I have some more cock? But I've been ad-libbing lately, and I've come up with a new one, and I sort of want to share it with you because you're such a nice crowd. Now, I don't mind you using it. That's why I'm telling you. Could all do with an extra line in the bedroom, couldn't we? But do us a favour, like, if you see me at an orgy, just remember it's my fucking line, okay? Well, to be fair, you're unlikely to ever see me at an orgy, because I've only got a flat, and I think you've got to have a house, haven't you? I'm not really very well equipped for having a lot of people around. I've only got 4 mugs. There's certain things I wouldn't want to have to explain away to me landlord. I don't know whose spunk that is in the carpet. It's not mine. Somebody must have trodden it in. So this is the line. I feel quite nervous now because I have genuinely said this during sex. I feel like I want to stand behind the curtain. Now, I'm going to say it, but I need to I kind of need to get myself in the moment, you know? Just bear with us a tick. That's all it'll take. Makes him look a lot taller than he actually is. Looks like I'm shaking his fucking hand. And the line is this: get it in, I've shaved everything, don't waste it. down. It's another good one. If they're trying to do foreplay on you, but you're going to miss your train, just shout, "Stop faffing." It's very effective, very effective. But I discovered something about myself recently that I did not know. I discovered that I am a workaholic. Haven't always been a workaholic. I think it's much easier to be a workaholic when you love your job, which I do. But before this, when I had a proper job and I worked in an office Monday to Friday, I was not a workaholic. I was very happy at 5 o'clock to go, "Bye, fuck the lot of you." But I read an article about workaholics by a man called Oliver Berkman, and he said people are workaholics for one of two reasons. Either they're hiding away from something at home, or they have nothing else going on in their lives. And I realised quite sadly that I fell into the latter category. I had my job, but I didn't really do or have anything else. One of the remedies he suggested to fix this, he said, actively create meaning elsewhere. And that's what I decided to do over the last 12 months, and that is what my show is about. Now, the first thing I decided to do, I decided to buy a house. I'd lived in the same rented city centre flat in Manchester for the last 6 years, and I really wanted somewhere, I wanted a house, I wanted to settle down. I wanted a house mostly because I'd lived in flats for 16 years, and I really missed going upstairs to bed. Not through the fucking kitchen. Upstairs to bed. But I was sitting only a few weeks ago, quite smugly, upstairs in bed, thinking, this is the life, I've arrived, I'm upstairs in bed. And then I thought, shit, now I've got to go downstairs for food. But what I wanted was somewhere that makes me feel the same way my parents' house makes me feel. They've lived in the same house since they got married 47 years ago. Exactly, and this is what I wanted. I wanted somewhere that I could build memory after memory after memory. Now, I was there sort of late summer last year with my sister, the four of us just sitting around with cups of tea around the kitchen table, putting the world to rights. It was lovely. And at the exact same moment, my sister and I both heard the ice cream man. And it was like no time had passed. No words were exchanged between my sister and I. She shot me a look that said, "Do you want one?" And I shot back a look that said, "Of course I fucking do." She picked up her purse and she ran out of the house. When she came back in, she told me there'd be no children anywhere near the ice cream man, just a 44-year-old woman running towards it. He'd started to pull away. She had to flag him down. And as she flagged him down, he shouted out of the window, "Come on, missus, you can do it." She came back in with 3 ice creams, one for me, one for her, and one for me dad, because my mum doesn't really like sweet things. And she said, "Where's Dad gone?" Because my dad was no longer in the room. I said, "He's gone to the toilet." Now, I don't know what your dads are like, but my dad can lose a good 20 minutes, half an hour in there. So she started to sort of lick her ice cream and kind of tidy his, do you know what I mean? Licking hers normally, but then spinning this one round. She was like a fucking machine, licking and tidying, licking and tidying, licking and tidying. This one started to get quite small, and I said, "Oh, that's not fair on Dad." And she said, "Well, what do you want me to do about it?" I said, "I think you should take it to him while he's on the toilet." And she said, "Well, if I'm going, you're coming with us." So we go upstairs together. Mum and Dad's toilet is separate from their bathroom. And I said to my sister, "Before you go any further, you must promise me one thing." She said, "What's that?" I said, "You must promise me that when you open that door, you keep your eyes tight shut, because you will never be able to unsee what you are about to say." She promised. She knocked on the door. My dad said, "Come in," like it was an office. And with her eyes tight shut, she opened the door and handed in an ice cream. And my dad said, "I cannot take that." And we thought, quite rightly, because eating ice cream while you're doing this shit is disgusting, isn't it? But my dad said, "I'm reading the paper, my hands are full." But my parents have always lived near a park, and I'd always been able to see a tree out of my bedroom window, so that became another priority. I wanted to see a tree out of my bedroom window. Didn't give a shit if it was on a fucking roundabout, just a tree. But it became very clear early on that I'm not massively suited to country living, having lived in the city centre for so long. I drove along a lovely country lane, and I saw a white marquee tent. And instead of thinking, "Oh, somebody's having a lovely summer party," I just thought, "Oh, someone's been murdered." One of the houses I looked at was owned by a couple who were getting divorced. It was very sad. And it was the husband who was showing me around. And I'd realised what was going on straight away, and I decided just to go through it very quickly because it was clearly painful for both of them. Now, I don't know if you've ever been shown around a house or have shown somebody around your house, but there's a degree of stating the obvious involved, isn't there, when they say things like, "This is the kitchen." I know. I mean, I call it the biscuit room, but whatever. "This is the living room." Yeah, it's another biscuit room. He took me upstairs to a closed door and he said, "This is the master bedroom." I said, "Great." He said, "I'd love to show you in there, but I can't." I said, "Oh, why not?" He said, "I can't show you in there because there's a lady crying in there." Which is sad, but also quite an unusual way of describing his wife, when potentially he's the reason she's crying in the fucking first place. But I said to him, "Look, I'm divorced myself. I understand what you're going through. I know that this is horrible for both of you and you just want to get it over and done with so you can both move on with your lives independently. I understand. You have my total sympathy. You really do. But I also know that you can cry in the bathroom, so fucking move her." Now, the house I looked at was owned by a really posh lady, so I already hated her. It's terrible, isn't it? I'm not supposed to hate anybody. I only hate posh twats. It's fine. I was going to say, have we got an in, but I've just remembered where I am. Yeah, you're all clapping. There'll be a couple of people at the back from Jesmond going, "Actually, there are posh people in tonight." But this posh lady was very dramatic in all of her gestures. She said to me, "There is underfloor heating throughout." I said, "That doesn't impress me, love. I've got slippers." And then, as if to hammer it home, she said, "There isn't a single radiator in the whole building." And I, because sometimes my mouth kicks in before my brain's had a chance, just said, "Well, how'd you dry your knickers then?" And the friend that I was with said, "Just chuck them on the floor." But I found a house that I liked and I got a survey done and the survey came back and it meant nothing to me at all. But luckily I've got a friend who's a builder and he said, "Let me have a look at it and I'll put it into layman's terms for you." I said, "Smashing." Now give us a cheer if you own your own home. Give us a cheer if you rent. See, up until this point, I'd only ever rented, and I think there are phrases that mean nothing to those of us who rent that the rest of you understand. Because my friend, the builder, said, "There is one thing you will need." I said, "Oh yeah, what's that?" He said, "You'll need a damp-proof course." And I genuinely said, "I haven't got time to go to college." But the house that I bought had a log burner. I've never had a log burner before. I got quite excited about the log burner. Not as excited as my fella did. He just went, "Oh my God, we'll be able to get a toasting fork." "Oh, we'll be able to toast things?" And I thought, he does know I've got a toaster, doesn't he? But I went straight out. He went to work, I went straight out and bought a toasting fork. And I came back in, I grabbed a loaf of bread and I thought, I'm just going to sit and work my way through. I fucking love toast. But I couldn't get it to work. And I rang him and I said, "I can't get it to work." He said, "How can it not work? It's fire and bread." And I told him what I'd been doing. Turns out I should have had the little door open. Might as well have been lying slices of bread on top of me radiators. Are in amongst me knickers on the underfloor heating. Oh, you're right, that's probably too much yeast altogether, isn't it? But when I moved from the flat to the house, I had bits and bobs of furniture, not much, but I had some stuff, and I was trying to work out what would best go where. And I said to me fella, "God, I wish I had a tape measure." He said, "What do you need a tape measure for?" I said, "I just want to know if that unit will fit in that alcove." And he said, "Well, I can sort that out for you." I said, "I don't want you to move it." He said, "No, I can work it out for you." And I said, "Have you got a tape measure?" He said, "No, but I've just got like an instinct about these things." And I thought, fucking instinct. Let's have a look at your instinct, pet. And I said, "Go on then." So this is genuinely what he did. He went like this. Yeah, that'll fit. I said, "Is that it? You could at least got your cock out and done 6 inches, 6 inches, 6 inches. Let me ask you guys a question. Shout out anybody in the room who's ever broken anything during sex. What? Takes a bit of settling in. What did... Yeah, you broke something? Where were you? Lamp. A lamp or a lamb? Where are you, love? Where are you? There you are. Hello, love. It was a lamp. What kind of lamp?
It had a ceramic base to it.
Ooh, a ceramic base. Ooh. And was it like movement and it just toppled off, or?
Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much. Did anybody get hurt, or was it all right?
No, it's all fine.
It was all right. So we've got a lamp stroke lamb from the lady over there. Lamp is a good answer. Thank you very much. What else we got? A bed. Where are you, love? Hello, flower. Up there. And you broke a bed. Was it fixable, or did you have to buy a new one? You got a new one. Okay, there's lots of giggling going on there. Let's have a look. Is it the partner that you're with? Well, I mean, sorry, but if you sit in couples like that, I'm going to make assumptions about you, flower. So it's this lady here, the one that's looking desperately like she wishes she wasn't here. So did you insist on the new bed? Was it a chance to get a new bed? It was at uni, and the landlord said you had to buy a new bed. Did he come in and inspect it? Did you lose your bond? That's what happens, isn't it, when you fuck a bed to death? Somebody's going to have to go. Was anybody hurt, or was it all right? It was fine. So we've got a bed, thank you very much, couple who love sitting next to each other so much. We've got a bed and we've got a lamp. What else we got?
A dessert table.
A dinner table. Who said a dinner table? A bird table. Were you the bird on the table? What did you say? Shout louder.
Dessert table.
A dessert table. All of my tables are dessert tables. I'm just guessing, but are you quite posh? Well, this is for the bruschetta. Then we move over here, and we've got, I don't know, sausage and mash, I don't know. I can't even think of a posh main course. Did you say coq au vin? Fucking surprise. He's got it on the fucking brain. Do you really have a table just for desserts? Yes. Oh, you worked in a restaurant. So you're really not posh. No. And did it have... Why were you having sex at work? I like that there's at least 60% of the room going, my sex life is rubbish. So was the restaurant still open? Were people like trying to get the jelly and ice cream from round you and that?
We were under the dessert table.
Under the dessert table. Don't I feel like a proper tit now? See, if it was me, I'd want to be in, like, writhing in amongst it. And then I'd just go, you know what, fella, I don't really need you. Oh, creme brulee. See, I thought of a posh pudding. Yes. Did you get caught? No. Well, now everybody knows because it's on a DVD, isn't it? I used to work in Nando's with her. Dessert table is a good answer. Thank you very much, love. What else we got? There was... A what? A rear view mirror. Okay, there's lots of questions here. Hello, by the way. Was the car moving? No. Okay, that's safety first. Got to get that out of the way. Was it knocked off with an arse, by any chance? You think so? Did you not notice till you were trying to drive away? There's something not right. No, it's not the spunk in me hair. It's, That's normal, it's Tuesdays. I can't seem to see behind me. You've still got it in the cleft of your arse, love. Now, or just unclip? Because you can slot them back in, can't you, apparently? Shut up. Did it? It was quite an old car. And it's, oh yeah, classy, aren't you? Having sex in an old car. Well done. Was it through the day?
No.
No, obviously. I look at you like, what do you think, I am some kind of monster? I don't know anybody else, you know how everybody talks about dogging and everything, and I don't know anybody who does it. Maybe I do. But every time I see two cars together, I just go, dogging. Just automatically. One of them sometimes is an RAC van. Dogging. No, they're not. So a rear view mirror is a very good answer. Thank you, Flower. Have we got anybody else? Blood vessels. We've gone all the way from lamp to blood vessels. Where were the blood vessels?
Lying there as you do, and I was dribbling on you.
You thought he was dribbling on you? We need to know the rest, otherwise I'll not sleep. Just put your fingers in your ears if you're already feeling a bit sick. Did you just say you've all been there? Too much dribble. It's a telltale sign, pet. You turned the lamp on and he looked like a butcher's slab. You looked like a butcher's slab. He was champion. He was ready for the next go. So, yes, it would be a passion killer. If it wasn't a passion killer, there's something wrong with you. So you didn't actually work out where the blood came from? It was his nose. But it could have been a lot worse, because probably the most painful one I've had so far, a man said he'd broken his banjo string. It's about cocks, you should like this one. Slapping them and that. No. If you don't know what a banjo string is, you should just Google it when you get in. I'm not going to tell you, I'm not your mum. It shouldn't be your mum that ever tells you that. Now, things you need to know. What can snap on a cock? Noise when you say banjo string, though, and a lot of the people in the room know what it is, and other people are going, why was he playing a banjo? I don't get it. Doesn't sound very sexy to me. It's not a sexy instrument. Thank you very much for that, Flower. God, I hope everybody's all right now. Jesus Christ. There was a man, actually, I did a show and a man shouted out that he'd broken his foot during sex, and I said, did you carry on, or did you stop? And he said, carried on. And I recognised his accent. He was a Geordie, and I thought he probably didn't even put his fucking pie down. But I know it's a very personal question, and I'm grateful to those of you who did join in. Thank you very much. What sometimes happens is people go, I'm not going to tell her in front of all those people, but I'll send her an email when I get in. And I'm like, oh, I've got an email. Oh. Although I have got a man who sorts my website out, so he actually filters my emails. Mainly because I'm not very technical, but also because for a while I was getting loads of pictures of men's cocks just sent to me. And now he can print them off so I can put them on the wall. Just as a border, it's not too much. Would you like to sleep in the cock room this evening? But probably the best one that I've ever had by email, a lady said she'd broken a man's pelvis. Yeah, it was a one-night stand, she was on top, he was screaming, she thought he was having a marvellous time. But my favourite one in a show, the lady said she'd broken a man's spirit. I think we've all done that from time to time. I brought my vibrator once, that counts, right? And normally when I break things, I give them to me dad to fix. I kind of do that. So I just watch it off the bedside cabinet and I got it going again. It's not really a joke, that one. It's just a tip for the ladies. And I've got a friend who's a doctor. She's a brilliant woman. And we were having one of those lovely catch-up chats. You know when you haven't seen a friend in ages and you've got the kettles constantly on and you're putting the world to rights. It was one of those and it was lovely. And we ended up talking, I don't know how we got onto this subject, but we ended up talking about how much toilet roll we use. I think I'd been bragging. When my boyfriend's round at mine, we can rattle through a 9-pack in a week. And she said to me, you're using too much. I went, what? Is there like a shortage? And she went, no, but you're using too much. And then she went, dry, wet, dry. I said, what? Dry, wet, dry. Dry, use a bit of toilet roll. Wet, one of those moist toilet tissues. I don't know what that mime is. That's scary because I'm quite clearly doing somebody else's arse, aren't I? It's good to say I'm very thorough, though, isn't it? So that's wet, and then pat it dry with a bit of toilet roll. And I said, you know what, I'm 36, I've been doing this a long time. How about I just stick to my usual way? And she said, and I hope this is how she talks to her patients, she said, your arsehole will fall off. But you know, there are those times when you run out of toilet roll, and obviously the worst time to run out of toilet roll is when you really fucking need some toilet roll. Give us a cheer if you've ever used something else because you had to. Oh, quite a lot of you. What kind of things have you used? Shout out. A sock. Who's that? Give us a wave. Where you love, there you are. Happy as bloody Larry they, aren't you? Okay, so you used a sock. Did you do it like that? Oh, did you put it on your hand? Oh, like the saddest ever glove puppet. I don't want to. I don't want to. A sock, well done, pet. What else have we used? Shout out. What was what was that? A shower head. Oh my God. Did you have to like? Oh, did you have to paw your cheeks? Oh my God. Was that in your own shower? Was it in your own shower? Oh, that's all right then, good. Just imagine a minute. Oh no, it's just at me friends. Oh, he's here. Oh, hiya. I didn't tell you about this, did I? So we've got a sock and a shower head. What other? Spare pants. Somebody who said spare pants. Somebody here. That's a good answer. It's another good reason to carry spare pants. What was the fella over here? Sandpaper. Do we believe him? No. Is it? What was that, love? You were on the beach. And what? And that's where I know that's where sand comes from, but I don't know if there are many DIY places on the beach. Oh, you know that beach that's got all those B&Qs. Any other things we've used? Your hand. Any others? What was that? Your boss's performance review. High five, fella. Well done. Excellent, excellent work. There was a lady the other day, and I use the term lady as loosely as it's possible to use it, said that she had used a sandwich. I don't know about you lot, but I can't eat Nutella anymore. You told me yours, I'll tell you mine. When it happened to me, I was in my flat, and I thought, sort of thinking about the other rooms, visualising the other rooms, thinking, what on earth could I use? Never been posh enough for kitchen roll, but I've always had tissues in. But I had run out of tissues at the same time, and I was like, it's sod's law. What on earth can I use? And then I remembered that I'd recently treated myself to some flash wipes. Yes, it stung. Yes, it was very lemony. It was also the cleanest I've ever felt. And to be fair, the advert does say that they're for stubborn rings, so... But I did a show in Belfast, and a fella shouted out an answer, but I couldn't quite... it was just a noise, because he had such a strong accent, I could just make out a noise. I just heard, wah, wah, that's all I heard, wah, wah. And I said, what, you wiped your arse on a werewolf, did you, love? Turned out what he actually used was wire wool. I think I'd rather take my chances with a fucking werewolf.